All right, in today's episode, we're going to go over a few things just to clear the air here. First thing we're going to talk about is botting. Then we'll go into Macroquest, and then we'll talk about multiboxing, and we'll talk about Redguides, which you see me linking in the description below a lot. I've just noticed from some of the comments that people are kind of not really understanding what these things are and what they mean. So just to set things straight here, when I refer to botting, what I'm referring to is using some type of software to AFK, automatically play your characters, set it and forget it. That's some of the stuff that I talked about in my last video that I did and where the GMs didn't come and get me. So botting has nothing to do with multiboxing or Redguides. That's not what those things are. It's not what they stand for, so don't get the two confused. Macroquest, that is a software that can be used to automate gameplay. It can also be used to implement game-breaking hacks such as warping and a bunch of other malicious things. And if you don't know what warping is, if you've ever seen someone be on the map next to you and all of a sudden they appear in like right on a named, they're, ghosting or warping across the zone to get there, and Macroquest in itself is a very powerful tool. It existed before Redguides. It has existed for a long time as a standalone thing. Macroquest is not Redguides, and we'll get into what Redguides actually is and stands for in a minute. So when you see me linking Redguides below, that's not to be confused with Macroquest. It's not to be confused with major game-breaking exploits and hacks or malicious plugins, add-ons that people that use Macroquest will be using. Multiboxing. If for any of you that have been watching for a while or subscribed, the main focus of this channel is on multiboxing. Now I've had multiboxing guides on how to do this legitimately, playing each one on TrueBox servers on its own PC. When you're playing on live servers or things that allow multiboxing, you can load multiple copies of Everquest on the same PC. So the unique aspect I've taken is I'm multiboxing on TrueBox servers. That has been the main focus of this channel, is how to multibox when you can only use one account per PC. I've made a lot of multiboxing videos on how to play that legitimately. I've made multiboxing videos on how to use not Macroquest to do this, but how to kind of automate some of the gameplay using auto fire, do some of the auto attacking and some of the social key pressing for you. And then I think I've even talked about how to do that, how to multi-box using something like Macroquest. And as you've seen in my last video, I was basically botting to see if I could get GM's attention or how the GMs were actually interacting or policing the servers. The things that you see me doing in the YouTube videos is not normally how I would play when I'm casually playing. I do actually play the game. I'm not running around botting. I'm just coming up with ideas to push the limits, try new things, make this a little bit entertaining, exciting, because I couldn't just like do a live video and people are going to care what's going on there because it's kind of boring. So these videos you see are the extremes. They are pushing the limits. They're thinking outside the box. Sometimes they involve botting and things that aren't really ethical. I'm not promoting that. I'm not for that. But from an entertainment perspective, I want everybody to be aware of those types of things. I think just knowing that those things are out there and learning about the different things actually helps the community grow as a whole. And that's going to lead me into Redguides. So Redguides is not Macroquest. It's not botting. Redguides is a multi-boxing community. That's how it started. That's how it originated. They basically are promoting multi-boxings, which in return makes the game stay alive, lets you make your own groups, it allows you to get things done. They do not promote hacking. They do not promote cheating. And the main reason they're linked in my description is because this channel is about multiboxing and Redguides is a multiboxing community. Now, it just so happens that they do have a very dumbed down light version of Macroquest that's available that they support through multibox on live servers. They do not encourage, promote, or support using Macroquest or their vanilla version on any of the TLPs or TrueBox servers. They have dumbed down Macroquest in such a way, and they call it vanilla, that it's basically allowing you to have additional mercenaries. But instead of actually having the mercenary, you can use an actual character. This would allow you to play, say, 3 characters and have 3 mercenaries, with 2 of them, possibly using vanilla MQ to simulate functions of a mercenary. That's what they are. Maybe a sophisticated, advanced mercenary gameplay. But I've seen in the comments that I'm linking to cheats, but that's not really what's happening here. You could even see on Redguides' website that they are a multi-box community. They aren't just vanilla MQ. They have guides, they have tools, add-ons, they have all kinds of help for people that are trying to multi-box legitimately. And the very vanilla version they made, it's right on their website. They call it the friendliest flavor of Macroquest. It is designed as a boxing tool, and it works only on multi-boxing servers. And they block game-breaking cheats. That's the warping and stuff like that. So they're not so much promoting cheating, they're promoting multi-boxing and allowing you to basically use your own characters as mercenaries on the live servers that already allow multi-boxing. Now, just because you can get something to work in some fashion on say a TLP, doesn't mean that that is a supported function or that's what Redguides or some of these multi-boxing communities stand for. So just because you see me do something does not mean that's what it was intended for or that's the purpose it was designed for. In fact, the client, if you try to load it on a TLP, will crash consistently every time you zone, which is very time consuming to try to run something like that. Regardless of what your stance is on multi-boxing or people using things like even vanilla Macroquest on the live servers, I'm going to just tell you flat out that it's communities like this and it's multi-boxers that have kept this game alive for as long as it has been. And yes, it does suck that you can't just log on and find people to play with all the time. They do have Project 99. That's exactly what that's for. But this live Daybreak version is all about cash flow, keeping this game alive. When you have someone multi-boxing 6 characters, they're paying for 6 accounts. And maybe you can't find a group, but we need to not take that out on the multi-boxers. We could easily look at Daybreak and how many servers they actually have and how they run their servers. On a server like Mischief, for example, you could get groups, and there were a lot of guilds that would kick some of their boxes out so that you could group, or you'd have a group of say 2 players together, each playing 3, or 3 players each playing 2. Like, it was friendly like that. Redguides encourages the social aspect of Everquest, but at the same time they recognize that the game was dying and that in order to get some things done, multi-boxing was kind of essential for the game. So click the link and check out the Redguides website. It's not a link just about vanilla MQ. They have some free forums with a bunch of advice. They have tons of users and a lot of discussions about multi-boxing, so you can learn a ton of stuff there. You know, you can learn some of the strategies, you can learn about some different macros to use. It's just a great community to be part of, and that's why I promote it, that's why I link it, and that's why I support it. You don't see me linking anybody that's promoting the Macroquest with the big exploits or hacks. I'm not for that. I do make videos about it, yes. That's not how I play the game. I do run tests from time to time, and I put my accounts at risk. I'm not telling you to do that, nor am I encouraging that. So I just wanted to clarify that because I don't want anybody getting a bad reputation or taking the heat for the stuff that I'm doing. As an entertainer, pushing limits and getting things to the extreme. And yes, I did bot, and no, it was not done through Redguides software. It was automated gameplay, and all the stuff that I earned was not to make any money off it. It was not to farm kernels. In fact, I'm just using it for raffles to give it all away. So I don't need any of that stuff. I didn't do it for personal gain. I did it for entertainment purposes and making videos. You guys see my inventory, you see my plat levels, like that stuff's eventually gonna come back in these raffles. And when Runes of Kunar comes out, there'll be some other cool things that I'll send out. And then just to touch on in the last video, I did talk about the disappointment in not having another random loot mischief type server. And I will probably make another video about this later, but it is actually confirmed at this point that the reason that they are not making another mischief type rule set is because that server was so popular that they do not want to pull the population off mischief, because that's one of their longest lived, highest population TLPs. And if they were to make another TLP with even a random loot or even a modified rule set to make improvements upon that rule set, then it would draw a massive amount of people from the Mischief TLP, and they're not ready for that yet. So I think that we'll get another random loot server when Mischief, if Mischief dies or when it makes it to live. We're going to be waiting that long for something like that, I think. Maybe the next year we'll have some of those features included. I don't think that Oakland will really make it that far with how they have the actual bonuses right now, and obviously most of the other TLPs pretty much die off after Planes of Power. So it'll be interesting to see what they do on the next TLP release. Having said that, thanks for watching, and disclaimer, do not do what I do in these videos. This is just for information and entertainment purposes only. There's a good chance that I will get banned, and that's fine. So yeah, thanks for watching. Until next time. We got P99, we got TLP, we got private servers and tests that's free. Some of us pay, some of us don't, some of us play, some of us won't. Did you just break my mess? Did you just train me? Did you just miss a healing? Are you gonna rest me? And please, I need a sow, and please, I need a rest. Please, I need that sword, I'll take what you got.